Welcome, welcome. Nice to see everybody here. So I really wanted to get this to do this presentation because I think there's a lot of chaos around the world of AI. There's a lot of people saying a lot of different things, and it's always nice to try to give a little bit of clarity based on my experience as somebody who has been in this industry for 10 years or something. So let's see, what else do we have? Boston, small business coach. We have journalist from Germany, Detroit, Michigan, London, currently in Spain. Hope the weather is better than London. Delivery manager for a bank, Brighton, Denver, Copenhagen. Ciao, Stephen. Nice to see people that I know. Rossano from Switzerland, Bulgaria. So we have, gosh, so much stuff. Italy, Stockholm. Amazing, amazing. It's always nice to see this. All right, so let's get started. We're gonna spend together, I planned for an hour, but let's see, maybe I managed to give you the value that I wanted to give you in even less time. So let me share my slides for the day. Here we go. So today I wanted to talk to you about how to solve your problems with AI. Not all your problems. I'm sorry if you thought that this was gonna solve all of your issues. This is not going to solve all of them, but at least your business problems with artificial intelligence and how you can embed AI within your processes. I also wanted to specify this is a sort of June 2024 edition. Why do I write this? Well, because AI keeps changing all the time. So what I want to share today is sort of where the status of the industry as I see now. All right. So who am I, first of all? My name is Gianluca Mauro. I'm originally from Rome. I've been living in Copenhagen for a little bit now, and I've been working in the AI industry for 10 years. I am the founder of a company called AI Academy, a company specialized in non-technical AI education, and a new product startup called Epiphany, which right now is still in stealth mode, but I'm going to be sharing more about this soon. I'm also the author of a Guardian investigation on AI ethics and on gender bias. This is something I care about a lot, trying to make AI more ethical for people. There's a lot of problems in the AI industry, and I try to do my best to make the industry a little bit better. I'm from Rome, as I said, live in Copenhagen, right now in New York City for training with a customer. These are some of the companies that I work with. I work with Procter & Gamble, Pampers, I teach at Harvard, Merck, the pharmaceutical industry, Brunello Cucinelli in fashion. So basically what I'm going to tell you now is what I've learned after 10 years working in this industry and what I see companies are doing today and what I am advising to these companies as well. And I wanted to try to democratize some of this knowledge and not keep it locked into boardrooms, let's say. So rules for today, questions are welcome. And I always say this, like free webinars, usually people discount them. They're like, oh, it's free, so I'm gonna scroll through Instagram while this guy is speaking. But I encourage you to take time to focus on this. Because again, these are things that could potentially be really helpful for your career. And I don't do this very often. I don't have time to do those free events very often. So it's a good opportunity to try to learn something. Feel free to take notes, ask questions at any time. All right. So let's start with this. There's I don't know if you guys know who Andrew Ng is. He is one of the godfathers of AI, very famous AI person. And he had this very famous quote. He says that AI is data plus software. I disagree. I think this is a very, very narrow view of what AI truly is. AI, so if you ask me what AI is data, software, user experience, business value, business strategy, and societal impact. If you just focus on the technology side of things, so just on the first two, you're going to get a very narrow view of what AI is, and you're not going to be able to ultimately get value from it. So if you want to solve problems with AI, this is the title of this webinar. And if you want to embed it in your processes, you also need to think about user experience. UX stands for user experience. So how do people use it? How do you use it? How does your team use it? How does your company use it? Do they understand what to do with it? Do they understand what not to do with it? Business value, what problem am I trying to solve? Am I just buying a lot of ChatGPT licenses and giving them to all my team? Or also for myself, am I actually using AI for the most valuable things that I could do in my profession, in my personal life? Strategy, this is especially important if you're a company, but also if you're a freelancer. Do I have a plan for how I want to integrate it? Do I have a strategy for how to capture the most value from it? And last but not least, societal impact. This is especially important if you're a big company. Am I developing applications that make the world a little bit better, or am I building applications that make the world so and so? So these things are all important, but we often don't talk about them. So this is something we need to remember. AI is just a tool. It's like a hammer. It's like a screwdriver. If we want to make sure that it brings value and it's not just a shiny technology that a few nerds in Silicon Valley care about, but it's something that brings value to us, we need to see it as a tool to solve our problems. So today I want to try to answer some of those questions. What kind of tool is it? For what kind of problems can I use it? And how do I solve these problems with AI? So just to be completely transparent, at the end of this webinar, I'm also going to tell you about an AI Academy training, something that we sell so that you can learn how to do those things better. I want to tell this in the beginning because it doesn't feel like a surprise then, but that doesn't mean that the webinar is going to be a sales pitch. So I'm basically going to give you value and going to try to explain concept for 45 minutes or something like that. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about this course. But again, I always want to say it at the beginning so it doesn't feel like you're being sneaked into a sales pitch, right? So for full transparency, I think that's something that we can all appreciate. All right, so let's start with this. Generative AI today is not general intelligence. A lot of people talk about AGI, if you heard about this, artificial general intelligence. Gen AI today is not artificial general intelligence yet, meaning it cannot do everything, but it can do quite a lot of different things. It's general technology. And this is a little bit of a problem. I mean, it's great, but it's also a little bit of a problem because if you think about this, another general purpose technology would be electricity. And if somebody asks you, hey, what can I use electricity for? The answer is so broad that it's kind of hard to give advice to people, right? So since it's general, it's hard to find a simple answer to those questions that people have. But we can try to give some answers here. By the way, Andres, I saw your message, you being in the waiting list, but no hearing back. It may be in your spam folder, but there's already somebody from the AI Academy team in the chat, so maybe they can just reach out to you and help you out, all right? I just saw the comment and I want to acknowledge it. So now let's talk about how can you implement a general purpose technology like AI in your work or in your team. So an analogy that we can work with is with another general purpose technology, which is databases. So you may have heard about the word or the acronym LLM. This stands for large language model. A large language model is the underlying technology that powers a tool like ChatGPT. All right. So if you have a tool like ChatGPT, the underlying technology is an LLM. An equivalent could be to think about a database. Okay, database is also a general technology. It's a technology that stores data, and it's very generic. But databases are hard to use. If you're a technical person, you know how to interact with a database. But if you're not, you're going to struggle interacting with it. And the same way, a large language model, if you're a technical person, you may know how to interact with it. But if you're not, if you don't know how to write code, it gets really hard. So this is why companies turn those basic technologies into generic tools that are easy to use. So what is the generic tool that comes from a database? That's Excel. And what is the most common generic tool that comes from an LLM? ChatGPT. I see Haley asking, is Google's Gen AI the same LLM as ChatGPT? No, it's not. It's a different kind of LLM. It's trained by Google, but it's the same concept. Gemini is a product built on top of the Google LLM. ChatGPT is a product built on top of the OpenAI LLM, which is called GPT-4 or GPT 3.5. All right? Cool. Of course. And then there are application-specific tools. So an example is a CRM. A CRM like Salesforce is a tool that companies use to keep track of their customers and their sales, all right? But there are not a lot of application-specific tools in the Gen AI world yet. They will come up, they will be there, but there are not a lot yet. But this is where the industry is going to go. The industry is going to go towards building applications that are going to be more specific. So now, let's start thinking about this. How can you integrate AI in your business? Should you focus on the technology? Should you focus on large language models? Well, a company did that. It's called Bloomberg, and they built a large language model on spending $10 million because they had all this financial data and they thought this was going to be a great idea. Then somebody made a research article in which they compared Bloomberg GPT, so this specific technology they developed, to GPT-4, which is the OpenAI technology that all of us can use for $20 a month. And what they found was that GPT-4 was better than Bloomberg GPT, even on financial data. This means that a generic technology became better than a specific technology that was developed by Bloomberg. And that's because tech companies like OpenAI are just so much more far ahead than Bloomberg or than any other organization. So when I do consulting to big companies, I was just now talking to a big construction company, even though they do have big budgets, I never recommend developing the core technology. Because you know what could happen? This. Take the technology, put it in the trash can. And I hope you like the animation. I was really bored on a flight from Copenhagen to New York, so I'm just going to do it again. I'm very proud of this. All right. I hope you like I hope you like this animation. All right. But that's the concept. If you spend too much time on the technology, you may waste your money. And if you're a professional, you may also waste a lot of energy to try to understand how to do it. So leave this to big tech. Big tech, Google, OpenAI, Microsoft will focus on the technology. You should not. All right. Let's talk a little bit about those generic tools. So tools like ChatGPT, which is basically the Excel of Gen AI. This is a nice, simple way to visualize it. It's the Excel of generative AI. It's the most broad, simple, super powerful, but broad, generic tool that you can use. All right. You can use this tool for what I call augmentation. Augmentation means that you can take that to boost your skills, all right? Or to get skills that you wouldn't have otherwise. And I want to give you a quick case study from our company, a case study of augmentation practices. So the case study is from a member of our team, Andrea. I don't know if he is in the meeting right now. If he is, Andrea, come and say hi in the chat. Andrea is amazing, and he wanted to use AI to automate writing while keeping control of his thinking. Again, augmentation, all right? Let's talk about the problem that he had specifically. So the goal of this use case is to have for you to learn how you can use this technology to augment your skills. So what Andrea had to do was to write an email flow to promote a new course. The challenge was that it was the first edition, so we didn't have a lot of data. Also, Andrea is not a native English speaker as me. I don't know if you noticed, I'm not a native English speaker either. I'm Italian, and Andrea is Italian as well. And copywriting was not his #1 skill. And that's the same for me as well. So the solution that he found in the beginning is that he used AI to write this email flow as a co-pilot. The way that he did that is by giving the right context, giving the right instructions, giving the right details. And then this was used to create a flow, an outline flow. By the way, this framework, context, instruction, details, and input, is a framework called CD that we teach at AI Academy. There is a free course that we have released in which we teach that as well. So if somebody from the AI Academy team could put the link in the chat, that's something you can go and check out later, so you can learn how to use this framework as well. All right, it's going to pop up in a second. So this is the output that he got in the first place, just a list of topics to cover in those emails. Then he picked each one of these topics and he refined it, changed it, removed it if he thought that they had to be removed, and he used the ones that he selected to create each single email. But I think this is not the most interesting thing, to be honest. I think the most interesting thing is what he did after. So this edition got sold out. Students were very happy. We learned what they liked and we improved what they didn't like. And so Andrea could take all this information, give it back to ChatGPT and say, now help me improve my email flow. So notice how in this case, Andrea used his own skills, his own thinking to find out what he had to do. What are the most important things to give to ChatGPT to update the email flow? This is what he did. The email sequence got a boost in conversion rate by 14.6%. If there's anybody that does marketing in the chat, first of all, raise your hand and say hi. This is a big number, and I think they will agree. So we were able to get this increase in conversion rates just because Andrea used ChatGPT to compound his skills. All right. Ciao, Ariane. Just saw your hand being raised. So I guess a marketer in the room. So it's a very good number. Also, Valentina confirms, Jeff confirms. This is something that we managed to get, again, because Andrea was capable of using this technology as a co-pilot to augment his skills. All right. Okay. So this is an augmentation case. Now, and by the way, Joetta just popped in the link to checking out our free course if you want to check it out later. Then I'm going to talk to you about our deeper courses that we have. I'm going to talk about them later. So for augmentation, the skills that you need are prompt crafting. I call it crafting because there's no really engineering involved here. You need to know how to write good prompts, but without worrying too much about the engineering practices. Critical thinking and a mindset shift. This is very important. Andrea managed to get to those outcomes because his mindset was the right one. His mindset was to think about what could bring value, what he was good at, what ChatGPT was good at, and keep control of the things that he knew how to do while delegating the things that ChatGPT could do better. All right? So we talked about augmentation, which is the art of using a generic tool like ChatGPT to augment your skills, especially for things that you may not be really good at, all right? Like English copywriting in the case of Andrea, all right? I use this all the time as well. I'm not a native English speaker as well, so copywriting is a big use case for me. But now let's talk about this section, which I think is the most interesting one, which is developing application-specific tools, niche topics that solve much deeper, in a much more systemic, embedded way, your problems. And this group has actually two different categories: automation and innovation. Let's talk about automation first. Automation, I mean, I think the word automation already makes you think about stuff, right? What is automation? The way that we approach automation in the Academy is the following. Every month, we have a hackathon. It's 3 hours in which we meet. Oh yeah, but Luis says make.com, we're going to talk about this. We actually have a partnership with them. So for everybody who doesn't know what make.com is, you're going to get to see it in a little bit. We love make.com, okay? So in this hackathon, what we do is we look at all the problems that we have. I mean, not all of them, mostly the work-related ones. I don't talk about my travel stress in those hackathons usually, all right? So we talk about the business problems that we have, and we try to think, how could we fix them? And so what we do is usually we map out a process. This is, for instance, the process that we use to write a newsletter. And then we find which parts of our process should be automated with AI and which ones we should keep control on. I want to give you a demo now. So this is an example of our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, you should be. It's a really good newsletter. So maybe if Joelle, sorry, I'm giving you a lot of homework while we're doing this webinar. If you could post the link to the newsletter, that would be amazing. So then people can join it if they're not in it already. But I want you to see here at the bottom, there's the big picture and there's the summary of a piece of news. And then what we call our take. Our take is basically what we think about this news. Now, AI Academy is a small team. We're 5, very powerful, but kind of small, right? We don't have a big marketing team. So I want to show you how we write newsletters, all right? So the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to show you basically how we do these 2 different blocks, all right? So we built an automation, and I want to actually give you a demo, okay? I mean, should work, so why not showing it to you? I'm going to open up, I'm going to share my screen once again, so I can share everything and not just the slides. All right. So Safari. Now, this is a TechCrunch website, talks about news. Go AI. Oh, interesting. I'm going to click here. Interesting piece of news. Okay, let's say that we like this. Okay, we like this piece of news. What we do is we click on this icon that adds it to a database. Okay. So this is how our database looks like. All right. So this is the piece of news and it's added to a database. Now we keep control over which news we want to feature in our newsletter. So what we do is we click on tags and we say, yeah, I like this, picked for newsletter. Okay. So now if I go back to our main database, you're going to see how there's this piece of news right here. Then usually we look at this and we add our own comments. So we talk and we say, Meta did the right thing, love it. Okay, this is just a random comment that we wrote. This is basically what we think about this news. Then we just need to click on a button. We click here and we wait a little bit, wait a few seconds. And if everything goes as it's supposed to go, and I never know if the team has been working on the automation, so it may be it has been stopped, but I hope not. I hope it's going to work. You're going to see the AI summary, and you're going to see the AI our take pop up in just 1 second. Let's see if it does. Does it? This is a Notion page, Valentina. Yes, correct. So it looks like it may be off right now, but maybe I'm going to ask the team to turn it on, and I'm going to go back to my slides. Just imagine that you're going to get this, basically. You're going to get the summary, and you're going to get the our take, which is basically it's what we think, what we just wrote, but turned into something that is nicely written with our tone of voice. We can just copy and put in the newsletter. Okay, so right now it looks like it's off, but again, as soon as the team turns this on again, I'm going to show you that it actually works. So this is what you would get: summary and our take. All right, we build this automation 100% without writing any code. I'm the only person in the academy that codes, and I didn't do this. Okay, this was done entirely 100% by the team. So you don't need to be able to write to know how to code if you want to build these sort of automations. So I'm going to go back to my slides, and then I want to, as soon as it gets turned on again, I will show you that it actually works, that we're not, I was not lying to you. Okay, it just had to be turned on. Because we usually do this stuff on Wednesday morning. So we do, exactly, Max, the beauty of being live. So I think it was used this morning and maybe has been turned off in the meantime. I'm also on a different time zone, so I have, I have missed that meeting. All right, so what did we learn? You have to focus on the business value. You have to make AI work for you, not the other way around. We could have done this maybe with ChatGPT, but imagine what a pain in the ass to do a million copy and paste all the time. It doesn't work, right? I don't want to bend to ChatGPT. I want that technology to bend to my way of working, right? So start with the problem, integrating your workflow, and empower the people that have these problems, that have challenges that they want to fix, to build their own solution. Again, I am not a technical, so I'm the only technical person. The team is not technical, but they built this. You can build your own AI integrations. And then you can say, but John, I'm just a one-person show. I'm alone. How can I build this by myself? Even better. If you're alone, this can be even more powerful for you, because if let's say you are somebody who works in marketing, you already are an expert in marketing. You just need to add that 20% of knowledge of AI to gain superpowers. All right. But if you're a big company, you may say, hey, John, but we are not, we're not that lean. We have long processes. How can I embed AI in my processes if I'm a big company that is a bit slow? Well, I have good news for you, and I'll do it from a case study of how you can start small and then scale from there. By the way, just seeing some questions. Lauren is asking, what was your prompt for our take? We can show it to you. It's not a big deal. We can just reach out and we'll send you through via email. Luis asks, do you guys offer advanced courses on AI implementation and automation? Yes, I'm going to pitch you a course and give a discount to everybody in this room in roughly 15 minutes from now. So you want to make sure you stick until the end. All right. So I'll tell you this story of this big company. The name is Stroer. They have 13,000 employees. They just released this. So I'm happy to talk about this. Finally, I can talk about this because they made a press release to talk about their technology. And we have prototyped this together. And they followed an amazing process. What this technology does, basically, solves a big challenge. Stroer sells out-of-home advertising. Basically, every time you see a billboard in Germany, they're a big company that manages those billboards. And if you send your graphic, they will put it on a poster. Sometimes people send really bad designs. If you send something like this, you're not going to get a good outcome. But Stroer doesn't have time to check all of them and give design advice to all their customers, right? They sell the space, not the design service. So this is the first problem. They don't offer consulting services. So they were used to do this check with a third-party company that charged 1,000 euros to their clients and took 1 week to do this. And very few customers chose to use this service. And also, if they did, they did not bring any revenue to Stroer, right? So the idea was, how can we potentially use generative AI to try to build a new, fast and scalable solution? We could potentially even offer this to clients as a new service that people would pay for. Actually, I'm not sure what Stroer decided to do in terms of business model. I want to actually reach out and just know what is their plan. If there's anybody from Stroer, by the way, in the meeting, I know this, they're friends, so they often come to those webinars. Feel free to chip in and just tell us what you're working on. So what we thought is take some of their knowledge, some of their proprietary out-of-home advertising guidelines, and use them to train AI to do that design check. So basically, this is what we designed. You can take any design that their customer will send it to AI, and AI would say, hey, this design sucks, for instance, in this case. These are the 5 things that you should fix. So we automated the design process. We taught AI to apply the out-of-home advertising guideline. We started with a very simple proof of concept. They built a more sophisticated solution using no-code tools, and just then, after they knew that the solution would work and their customers liked it, just then they invested in IT resources to make this a little bit more stable. So even if you're a big company, you can use those approaches to prototype. Okay. So the question is, how would your life or business look like if you could automate whatever you want and or can? I think it's an interesting question to think about. Okay, one thing that I want to show you is, you remember that the automation didn't work before? Now it does. So desktop 1, just to show that I didn't lie. Here we go. And you can see it. It is working. So you can see the title here. You can see the summary. You can see the comments. Then you can see our take. All right. So it did work. I didn't lie. It just had to be turned on. Alrighty. So question, how could you do vision analysis for a deck presentation of more than one page? You just need to build an automation. So you do it for each page at once, and then you put it together. This will be something that we will teach in our course as well. All right. So the skills that you need to do this sort of stuff is prompt engineering. So a little bit more than prompt crafting. Be able to break down a process into steps, then build integrations either with code or without code, all right? Depending on your skills. Now let's talk about innovation, which is the sort of like the most advanced thing you can do, build entirely new products. And I want to show this to you through a demo. The demo that I want to, I like to show demos. The one before had a little hiccup. So let's see if this one actually works. Otherwise, if both of them don't work, then you can stop trusting me, okay? So I'm going to share my entire screen, and I'm going to open Discord. If you don't know what Discord is to manage communities, all right? So AI Academy has its own Discord community where people go and talk about the projects they're building, the course that they're taking, the stuff that they're learning, so far and so forth, all right? So if this loads, okay, here we go. You can see how there's people that are talking to each other, giving each other feedback, discussing things, etc., etc. So one point that we wanted to have is that sometimes people have questions that I cannot answer because I'm not available 24/7. And so we built an AI version of myself. So users on Discord can type, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. They can type /ask and then type a question. They can say, how do I write a good prompt I can reuse multiple times? They send this question to our bot, which is thinking. And what is happening behind the scenes is that this bot is checking all our videos, all our content to find the best possible pieces of content to give an answer to the student. So this is the answer that it gives you. And it also sends you a link with a timestamp where you can go deeper and watch the videos of the course that you just bought, basically, to go deeper into the topic. So if you click sign in, you should see the video with my face explaining your stuff, right? Here we go. Loading. And you should see my face at some point, which you're seeing anyway now. So we don't need to wait for the video to load. All right. So this is an example of an innovation project. Why is it an innovation project? Because we used AI to create an entire new service that we are giving to all our students, all right? So all our students, if you decide to join an academy program, you're going to get access to this bot that can give you answers 24/7. So it's one of those cases in which we used AI to invent an entirely new service, all right? So let's try to sort of summarize a little bit what we talked about. So I think my slide deck got stuck. Can you still see my slides? I think Keynote got stuck. You can still see them? Yes, I can't. Interesting. In the meantime, I'm gonna answer the questions that I received while my computer decides what does he want to do. There's a question from Victor. It is to improve prompt or meta prompt? Interesting question. So what is a meta prompt for people who may not know what a meta prompt is? A meta prompt is sort of like a template for a prompt, okay? And if you write a meta prompt, then you're able to reuse the prompt multiple times. CD is a great framework for both cases, but I think where it truly shines is for meta prompts. Meta prompts is the application where CD works the best. All right, I think that's the best thing. All right, so let me see if Keynote decides to work now, and I can share my slides again. Today has been a little bit of a hectic day. I'm in New York, and just to give you an idea, right before I had to go online, I went down to the lobby, came back to the lobby of the hotel, and my key didn't work. So I was panicking that I was going to be late. So there's been a lot of things that didn't work today. I think I just need to relax and get a beer or something. Okay. So now also Keynote is giving me issues, but I hope this is the last issue that we're going to have today. So I want to end with a message, and then I'm going to tell you about the Academy program. The future is yet to be written. Why am I telling you this? I think a lot of people fear that the AI revolution has already happened and they need to catch up. You don't need to catch up. You need to push forward. There's a lot of stuff that still has to be built. ChatGPT is like Excel. It's a huge tool. Probably everybody's going to keep using it. But there's so much more to do. There's so much more to build. You can be part of this. You as a professional, you as a company, as a team, you can do more. And I hope that this framework can help you understand how you can embed AI in your processes to solve your problems. I want to go through these again so that we sort of like lock it in our brains, all right? There are 3 different ways you can embed AI in your processes, let alone the development of the technology. Forget about building your own LLM. Let big companies do that. Big tech companies do that. What you need to do is focus on 3 different areas that can help you or your business. Augmentation, so using tools like ChatGPT to improve your skills for ad hoc use cases, whenever you need to do something new that maybe you do once in a while or you've never done before. That's an augmentation case study. An augmentation use case. But then the other 2 that I'm honestly even more interested in is automation and innovation. Automation and innovation is about taking the capabilities of Gen AI and deeply integrate them within your processes and your product, building custom solutions. One thing that I want to say, custom solution doesn't mean building a custom AI model. Custom solution means knowing the problem so deeply that you can integrate AI within your current processes and services. So it's more about understanding the problem and integration than building complete new technology. All right. This is the framework that I've been using to coach. Yesterday I was with 12 executives from this construction company here in New York. And I've also talked about this framework, augmentation, innovation, and automation. And it's because I just see that it helps you think about what different things should I focus on. It clears up a little bit of the chaos that is going on. So you can do too many things, right? So you need to somehow sort of like clear a little bit that the confusion. Somebody asked about the best use cases for custom GPTs. If you don't know what a custom GPT is a function from OpenAI, from ChatGPT, so that you can customize a little bit how ChatGPT works. I think that's still an augmentation use case. It still helps you be a little bit faster. We use one for copywriting, for instance. I know companies using it for legal advice, for instance, can upload a document and ask to explain this contract, for instance. But still, you can push it even further with automation or innovation use cases. It's still sort of a basic one. All right. So let me talk about this program that we are launching the 7th edition for. This program focuses not on the basic augmentation use cases. It focuses more on the more advanced stuff, on automation and innovation. And I'll tell you about the program. And in the end, I'm going to give you also a discount code because the program is about to start. It's about to start, you know, the whole program. And so I wanted to use this webinar to try to get more people in, to get a bigger class, a more interesting class with more interesting people. All right. So if you want to learn how to do all of this, always if Keynote supports me, because it seems like it's stuck once again. All right, Keynote, what are you doing? Can you guys still hear me and can still see the slides? let me just share. I have a PDF of this. I'm just gonna share a PDF, all right? But can you guys still hear me? All good? Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So it's just me. All right, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna share the PDF. It's not gonna look as cool. You're gonna miss a little bit on the of the uh of the fancy animations, but I hope you don't mind. Okay. All right. So share. Usually when I'm at home and I'm not in a random hotel in New York, I have better tech and these problems don't happen. But anyway, what matters is the content, right? So you can join the 7th edition of the Generative AI Project Bootcamp. Actually, 8th edition, sorry. We are running now the 7th. So it's going to be the 8th edition. So these are everything you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to identify opportunities to create value with generative AI. It's super important. Not every use case is a good use case. You're going to learn, you will identify opportunities. You will design a Gen AI solution to tackle that opportunity. And by design, I don't mean design the buttons. Who cares about how the color of the button, all right? I mean, design the system. Make sure that it actually solves that challenge and brings you home that opportunity. You will learn a process to write reusable, scalable prompts that work every time. We stress so much about reliability of your prompts, so you can trust it. Advanced prompting techniques, and you will integrate it with whatever tool you want to integrate it with. This is how the program looks like. This is how it works. As soon as the program starts, you get immediately access to 7 on-demand modules. And then there are 5 live sessions with me and with other experts. We basically bring you from the beginning of a project, from inception, all the way to a functioning prototype in 8 weeks and 5 live sessions. You start identifying your process. You start breaking it down into steps. You learn how to write really good prompts. You build an automation, and then you pitch it. And you always get a certificate if you did a good job. Across the entire program, you can get access to one-on-one coaching. We have 7 amazing AI coaches. All of them have experience in different sectors. You can pick the one that you like the most or that is most helpful for your project and schedule a meeting. So basically, to be extremely practical, if you join a program like this, you get a URL that you only have, and you can see one of the coaches here. You can see what this person is an expert in, and just book a call to get some help, all right? This is one of the things that our students love the most, the fact that they can always get a different perspective on the project that they're trying to build. We have already trained 200 students, even more, and they build all sort of projects. Sometimes we sell out this program also in a week, so you maybe want to rush to get this. I want to give you an idea of what kind of projects they built, and I want to tell you the story of one of our favorite students, who's also an AI coach, Alessandro De Salve. Alessandro, if you're here in the webinar, pop in and say hi in the chat. He's usually here. So he's somebody who has experience in IT sales, marketing, talent acquisition. HR has been his latest industry that he worked in, but he decided to challenge himself and learn something new, which was AI. This is the project that he has built. It's called IT Expert Ease, and it's basically it's a solution that helps HR professionals solve all sort of tasks that they may have, which is to create new job postings, create help with interview candidates, write offers, hire people, etc., etc., etc. And by the way, you can test this. This is live on his website, alessandrodesalve.it. I'm just gonna go here. You can go and try it out. So it's a real product that he has built. Okay, it's not a random thing. But people build all sort of things. There's Imelda. She built a tool to empower autistic drivers to feel more comfortable and more confident whenever they encounter a stressful situation. Joseph, he built a tool to create 3D images of video game characters. Luigi built a tool for the regulatory screening of in banking, okay, for banking services. And Akvile, who's a marketer, built a tool for marketing, obviously. So the program costs 1,300 euros, but we decided to make an offer just for people who are part of this webinar. So you're going to be able to get it for $9.99 within the next 2 days, if you get in the next 2 days. My team can post a link in the chat now. You can scan the QR code, or you can just click on the link that Joelle has sent. Thank you, Joelle. The program starts on July 8th. Okay, so if you get in now, you don't start immediately. You're going to start with the group. You have some time. You don't need to rush, basically. And your company can pay for it. A lot of people ask their companies to sponsor them because every company is investing in AI these days, right? And so if your company is investing in AI, there are very good chances they're going to be able to help you to pay for this. Hallie is asking, what are some good reflection questions or prompts to ask ourselves if we can't yet picture or identify what our project would be? I'm in stage of knowing my skills, envisioning my path, but not being sure where to focus then time on a single solution or project idea. Is a really good question. I want to address it really quickly. Actually, you know what? Let me just finish this presentation and then I'm going to talk about this because it's an interesting point that I want to spend some time on. All right, so $9.99 just for the next 2 days. If you are a team, if you have a company and you want to train your entire team, well, then reach out. This is the email of our partnership lead, Helen. I'm going to type her email in the chat as well. And so we can organize a custom training for you. And these are some of the companies that we have done this for. All right. I want to end with a quote. 90% of companies want to do Gen AI, but only 10% of them are successful. The reason they fail is because they haven't built mechanisms of actually transforming the workforce to adopt new technology, new capabilities. This is not just about technology, guys. This is about a lot of other things. It's about user experience. It's about business strategy. It's about transformation. It's about skills as well. Okay, so this is what we focus on in this program. Building the skills so that you can build better technology that actually solves problems. All right, Q&A. I'm gonna keep here the link. I'm gonna answer questions. Luis, yes, we actually, I forgot about this. We do have a partnership with make.com. So not only you're gonna get a free pro account on make.com for the duration of the training program, but you're gonna learn from an automation expert and from the make.com team. So the make.com team had a webinar just for the students of this program. When was it? 2 weeks ago, I think, if I remember correctly. I was traveling, so I couldn't join, but I know that somebody from make.com, a trainer from there, had more of an advanced training, so you can see, you can learn from them. Yes, you're gonna learn how to do how to build applications with make.com. All right. So from let me find it. From here we go. From Hallie was asking, how do I find a project? This is a really good question. So I always say it depends on what your goal is. All right. Ideally, if you have a very clear business challenge you want to solve, you focus on that. But we have some students that say, you know what, I want to take this as a learning experience. I want to take this as the starting point for me to learn and then find stuff that I can do in my company. So they pick just something they're passionate about. Just something that for them it's fun. It's important to have fun when you're learning. So one student, for instance, he decided to build a project to help people find the best dog for adoption because he was interested in that. He was volunteering, I think, at a dog shelter. And so he decided to practice his skills on that project that had nothing to do with his company, but it was just something that he was passionate about. That's mine. Yes, I can connect you with him. I love dogs as well, and you can talk about that project. So he built up because he wanted to practice on something he cared about. Then he started working on projects for his company. You can do whatever you want, basically. Okay. What is important for us is that whatever project you pick is something you care about and something that can help you learn and grow as a professional. All right. So that's the goal. Okay. So, other questions? I have a lot of ideas for automation for a venture capital. VC, I guess, is venture capital, right? From research to our knowledge base, so I can try and chat. Yes. Yeah, you can do all of these things. I actually worked with a company that does offer services to venture capital firms, and we build similar things. Max is asking how many live sessions for the course. I really like them. So there are 5 live sessions with an AI Academy trainer, which is either me or, for instance, Kyle, an expert in automations, or Christopher, who's an expert in process. All right. But then there are, between those sessions, there are other group work sessions in which you work with other students. That's one of the things that our students actually tell us, that they actually make friends because it's a group experience. So usually our classes are between 20 and 30 people. We're trying to keep them small so that there's a little bit of human interaction as well. And for this edition, we already sold 7. That's why I was telling you, if you think it's something you're interested in, I recommend you try to get it with this discount and try to get it fast. But people end up having personal connections, and they can work in those live sessions as well. So find with a coach, and then I think 3 or 4 additional sessions with all the students. The course is 8 weeks long, but you get access forever to the content and to the community and to the AI Academy bot. So the 8 weeks is when you have those live sessions and you go from beginning of the project to the full prototype. All right. Of course, Maria. Yes, it starts on the 8th of July. Make 8 students. You coming, Harley? So nice to, and I'm also so happy that it's going to be another project about dogs. I'm so happy to send this journey. It's really fun, to be honest. I teach in a lot of different trainings. I teach with companies. I've been, I teach at Harvard. I teach in a bunch of different places. What I can tell you is this one is the one that I had the most fun, because it's so, there's such a nice community feeling that it creates, and it's really nice. Jeff is asking, is the tool access unlimited use? I guess you're talking about the AI Academy bot, so where you can ask questions. I didn't set a limit. So technically, yes. I don't think you're going to ask a trillion questions, though. I don't think you're going to send us bankrupt. Okay. So the tool, we built it in a way that it's actually pretty efficient. So it doesn't cost a lot of money for us to run. So yes, you have a limited use. Live sessions will normally be at what time? Good question. We do the sessions at 6 p.m. Central Europe time. The reason why we do that is because that's after work in Europe, which is where we are based. But it's also a time where if you're in the US, for instance, you can join. We have a lot of students from the US or from South America, actually. I don't know why, but there's a lot of people that come from South America, where I didn't spend any time trying to do marketing. So it just worked out. And so in that time, if you're on that side of the world, it's going to be around 12 or earlier. Okay, but in the morning where you can still have fun. Hablamos español, hermano, vale? Intentamos. My Spanish is not that great. And if you're on the east side of the world, that's a little bit more complicated. But a lot of people also join from the Middle East, for instance. All right, so it's going to be 6 p.m. Maybe we're going to do other sessions in other time zones in the future. Nice to see you, Oliver. I already got a message from our CRM system. Hallie, thank you for buying the program, actually, for real. I just got the message. Nice to have you there. Amazing. All right, any other questions for me? Otherwise, oh, nice, and nice to hear. Otherwise, I hope that I'm going to see you together with Hallie and all the other students within our class, the Generative AI Project Bootcamp. I hope this was also valuable, even if you decide not to take the program. I hope that the 40 minutes that I spent talking about embedding AI in applications were useful, interesting. Share the recording with your friends or colleagues if you want them to learn. Okay, if you found this useful, I want this knowledge to be spread. Okay, I don't want to gatekeep it. All right, so feel free to do that. You're gonna get the recording soon, by the way. Not immediately. We need to edit it and then put it somewhere. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm gonna try to enjoy New York and get out of this hotel room before they come and kick me out. Okay. I have 4 minutes. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Bye, Jeff. Bye, Lucas. Bye, Leonora.